World leaders are absolutely furious at Donald Trump and his despicable regime, and they are refusing to lend any support, any resources, any of their land to Donald Trump's threat to attack Iran. Even Donald Trump's top general, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Raisin Cain, is telling Donald Trump, if we don't have support from any allies other than Israel, we can't do just a limited strike on Iran to topple the regime. We have no support, Donald. And Donald Trump is growing increasingly frustrated at General Cain and his top aides, who are saying it will be a disaster if we invade Iran without any support of our allies. And while Donald Trump continues to attack the rest of the world, as he's now imposing unlawfully another tariff regime, 15% tariffs on the rest of the world, Prime Minister Carney is brilliantly checkmating and outmaneuvering Donald Trump, joining together trans-Pacific partnerships with transatlantic partnerships. And Prime Minister Carney of Canada is taking a whirlwind trip yet again this week. He's going to be in India, Australia, and Japan. This is after he visited Europe, of course, where he's going to work to forge new partnerships to unlock new opportunities for Canadian workers and businesses across trade, energy, technology, and defense. So as Donald Trump is attacking allies, or I should say former allies, across the rest of the world, Canada is serving as the link, as the bridge between the Pacific and the Atlantic, bringing everybody together. Carney is doing this brilliantly. Here's how the BBC is reporting it. Carney heading on a trade trip as Canada seeks to reduce its U.S. reliance. Prime Minister Mark Carney is traveling to India, Australia, and Japan this week in his latest effort to cultivate trade ties as he seeks to wean Canada off its economic dependency on the United States. Carney will begin the trip in India on Thursday. His office said he's going to be meeting with Prime Minister Modi. He will then travel to Australia to meet Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and address Australia's parliament, the first such speech by a Canadian Prime Minister in nearly 20 years. The trip will end in Tokyo, where Carney will meet with Japanese Prime Minister Takaishi. It is the latest in a string of global trips by Carney in recent months amid trade tensions between Canada and the United States. By trade tensions, do you mean the United States threatening the sovereignty of Canada and continuing to attack the people of Canada and say the 51st state? Is that what you mean by trade tensions? It also marks a significant shift in Canadian-India ties, which deteriorated previously. It goes on to say that Prime Minister Carney is talking about how in a more uncertain world, Canada is focused on what we can control. We are diversifying our trade and attracting massive new investments to create new opportunities for our workers. And he says, we are going Canada strong. Also, I mean, you have Prime Minister Carney, right? Liberal Party leader, Prime Minister of Canada. But then you have Doug Ford. He's the Conservative Premier of Ontario. And here's what he has to say about Donald Trump's tariffs killing the economy. Here's what he said yesterday. Play this clip.
And there's going to be the midterms. I've never seen so many Canadians all cheering on the Democrats. And I think there's 33 Senate seats up for grabs. 20 of them are Republican. But we saw what happened in Congress. We saw what happened in the Supreme Court. The walls are closing in, I believe, on President Trump right now, and he's feeling the pressure. So a lot of these jobs are border states that are being affected, and he needs those seats. So if it continues on, people are going to be unemployed, and which will affect the midterms.
More from Premier Ford yesterday as well. Play this clip.
Well, I always say, no deal is better than a bad deal. But I think it's in the best interest of the American people. You're seeing inflation down there because prices are going up just because of these tariffs. And I've always said a tariff on Canada is a tax on the U.S. And I'm going to be spreading that message. Make no mistake about it. My media here is number one, but I have to get that message. I'll be going on with Wolf Blitzer on CNN. I think within the next hour, getting that message out there through CNN and other media outlets. People are listening. Down in the U.S., people are feeling the crunch. They don't see the prices going down with food and other goods. And that all has to come down to, the uncertainty that he's put around the world, but he's put against his number one customer in the world. I always remind him that 9 million Americans wake up every single day to build a product, a widget, or a service for Ontario alone, and they're going to feel the crunch.
So Canada's pretty united. Everybody from NDP, more far left, to Liberal Party, more center left, to Conservative Party, Doug Ford at the provincial level and others. I mean, pretty united. I mean, look, you got Pierre Poilievre, Maple MAGA, but that shtick isn't really working all that well. But other than that, you have a united Canada. Of course, Alberta too. Danielle Smith is, Maple MAGA. But other than that, you have pretty much, significant unity. Now, as I talked about at the beginning of this video, the Pentagon, through the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Kane, they are raising major red flags about Donald Trump's desire to attack Iran. The Pentagon's top general has cautioned Trump from attacking Iran, saying that there are shortfalls in critical munitions. Lack of support from allies will create significant risk to the operation and to U.S. personnel. And as Carl Quintanilla says, a lack of support from allies doing some heavy lifting there. A sustained campaign against Iran would likely be among the most complex and dangerous military operations launched by Trump, with the potential to pull the U.S. into a broader war in the Middle East. And Donald Trump is growing frustrated. All reports are that Donald Trump has grown increasingly frustrated with what aides describe as the limits of military leverage against Iran, with military planners telling Donald Trump that any strike on Tehran's assets would almost certainly not be singular, decisive, and just like a simple operation. Instead, limited strikes could open the door